Hey, how's it going, comic book community? I want to welcome you back to another comic book haul. I am recording this literally about an hour and a half after we just got back home from a comic shop that was having a 60% off Father's Day weekend sale. Um, these first set of books that I picked up were from this particular store, but I managed to pick them up about 3 weeks to a month ago before they had rotated their stock again. Uh, but when it comes to the sale, we'll get back to that later. I'm kind of happy what I picked up with, but let's just get right into it. First up is The Punisher #9. Once again, it's one of those. Is it the first full appearance? Is it a second appearance cameo kind of deal? This one relates to the Russian who had like a cameo in the previous issue, but he had dialogue and talked. And with all the Punisher stuff kind of heating back up again due to his appearance in the upcoming Spider-Man movie, the Russian already appeared in the 2004 movie with Kevin Nash in the role. So I managed to pick this one up for $5. We don't know for sure if this may or may not be the Punisher's last appearance within the movies or another TV special or whatnot. This next book, I did see that G-Dub managed to pick up the whole series, the little run of this, but I only managed to find issue #1. That's Green Lanterns versus Alien #1. These upcoming set of books I paid $2 a piece for. Hercules Unbound #6. This is one of those kind of deals where if you can match up your birth month with your birthday, and this is mainly the reason that I picked this one up. I paid $1 for this one. Coming up is DC Comics The New 52 preview edition that has all the upcoming like titles of the New 52 #1s that were coming out at the time. I think I had gotten this confused with the New 52 little special that kind of had the cameo first appearance kind of deal with Simon Baz's Green Lantern. That one was $1, even though it was a free issue. Next up is Long Shot #2. Issue #3 and #6. So what I gather from this is this series was cherry picked before I got there, but they did manage to lose out on these two. I believe this is the first cameo of Mojo in #3, and then this is her cover appearance in #6. For me, this is more of a spiral kind of collection, considering that I'm more into the Marvel versus Capcom fighting game character appearances, and that kind of ties into that. So these next set of books I managed to pick up at the comic shop that's by my wife's job. They did kind of change like managers, and it's more easily explainable how the pricing works now, just because they got a new kid that's working there, and he's kind of like knowledgeable for his age, and apparently he only got this as a summer job, but I'm kind of grateful because now you have someone you can like actually communicate with. First off is Ben 10 #1. I believe this is the cover D. One thing is, like, right when this character was starting to take off, like in the early to mid 2000s, I kind of was already growing out of that phase of like Cartoon Network era, because I believe that's right when the time when they were trying to switch over to like the reality TV show. So when it came to like Cartoon Network, I was already falling out of favor. But seeing how this book is, depending on you ask, it is kind of like a hot series right now, and that kind of motivates me to want to go back and watch the shows. This one I literally just bought as an inside joke. I wish my money would have gone somewhere else for this. The best thing I can say about this is the cover is nice, and that's where the positive review ends. Unfortunately, I had to pay cover price for that one for $5, even though it wasn't the back issue bins. I assumed it would have been more. But kind of like going back to how they clearly more explain how the pricing on the back issues goes, is that most of the time, unless it's like a highly priced wall book, all the back issues, depending on if it's like a variant or just any other old back issue, is usually going to be between $5 to $6 a book. So unfortunately, I wasted $5 on this one that I'll never get back. But on the bright side, I did manage to pick up this one, and that kind of ties into the whole cameo first appearance thing once again. All new Marvel Now .1. This does have Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel on the cover. One of the main reasons I picked this one up is they did have like between 5 to 6 copies of this particular issue, and this one just happens to be the nicest copy that they had. Next up is Batman Adventures number 12, the Artgerm Classic Harley cover. He does have another variant to this, which features the modern Harley Quinn. For me, it's like at this point, an original printing is kind of like way out of my budget, so I might as well settle for a reprint. So next up is the Free Comic Book Day Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. One thing that I wanted to note about this one is I did manage to find one of the KB Toy reprints of this issue at the 60% off sale, but ultimately it would have came out to the same price that I already paid for this one. So I'm like, it is what it is. I already spent the money. Why buy another copy of that? Next up, Spectacular Spider-Man number 176. The first appearance of Corona. One thing is, I wish I could have talked them down on the price, considering it does have like a major tear on the side right there. But I never really find this issue out in the wild, so even in beat up grade for $5, who's gonna argue with that? Next up is New X-Men number 31, the first appearance of Gamora. For $5, I'm not gonna argue with that. On eBay, they still go between $15 to $20, depending on the day. This is my second copy of this. Next up is Astonishing X-Men number 3. I believe this is the first cameo of Abigail Brand. Her full appearance is in that Colossus Kitty Pride marriage issue, like 20 issues later. That one they did have on the wall. However, they were asking $30 for that, and I kind of didn't feel like paying that. This one's just a pure cover by Justice League number 59, the Zack Snyder Justice League movie variant. I do have the previous issue that had Steppenwolf, Batman, and Cyborg on the cover. This one just happens to have Darkseid, Superman, and the Flash on it. This one, Justice League number 40, the first appearance of Grail, Darkseid's daughter, and Justice League number 50. Okay. So I do kind of have like bad news within my area, is that we are uncertain about this particular comic shop. If you guys have watched my videos, you know that this is one of those stores that has been closed down for a while for renovations, and then I think they had like an HVAC system malfunctioning once, and they've practically been closed for like the past 3 months. And the one time that I managed to go there, I got suckered in for the trading card section because they managed to buy in some bulk and they just put it out for us to like rummage. And then the cards that in particular that I got were like $1 to $5 a piece. I managed to find some Legend of Blue Eyes original cards, like the Blue Eyes White Dragon. They wanted $30 for it, Red Eyes and Dark Magician and all that. My biggest regret is that I didn't have more time to dig through the back issue bins, and now I kind of regret that because I'll never get that time back, because as soon as I try to go back, apparently they're closed down again, and like we're all left in the dark of when they're going to reopen, because when you try to reach out to them by email, you'll never get a response, and if you try to call the store's phone, the line is just like disconnected. But hopefully what's going on is nothing too serious, and hopefully they'll be able to open back up again. But of what I did manage to get there, I got some decent stuff for $5. And that's one thing that I do like about this store is, unless it also is like a big wall book that has already been priced, most of the back issues are just $5. So first up is Batman number 361. This is the second appearance of Harvey Bullock. Next up is Detective Comics number 647. The first appearance of Stephanie Brown before she becomes the spoiler. This one is a newsstand, and it's in a much nicer grade than the one that I already own. Batman number 395, the first appearance of Film Freak. Batman 497, Bane breaks the bat. The overlay issue. This one is in much nicer copy than the one that I have. Next up is this book has kind of already seen its day and has come back down to earth. Spider-Man Unlimited number 1, the first appearance of Scream. I believe this book was between $20 to $30, even $35 when the second Venom movie was coming out, and practically everything symbiote related has kind of crashing down. And then finally, the last book that I picked up was Spider-Man number 17 with Thanos on the cover. This is another one of those books that if I would have waited, I could have gotten it cheaper at this 60% off sale. But this one is a newsstand. However, it does have a minor spine tick and it is color breaking, but it is what it is at this point. Okay, so apparently with these two books coming up, I really just discovered this. I didn't know this, so there's this comic shop that's like 2 counties away that was trying to expand. They were trying to rent out a new building that was being constructed. It's literally not too far from the shop that's from my wife's job. It's only just a little bit, an extra 15-minute drive from there. But the reason I went to this is like it just popped up out of nowhere. Like even on the Google Maps, when you look it up, it's like, so what had happened was they had opened up this shop and apparently they could not maintain it, so they sold their lease off to another person who transformed it into more of a pop culture shop. And the Google review still has it under the old name, and like the description and everything about it is wrong, because instead of it being like a comic shop, it's more of a pop culture novelty shop. that caters more towards trading cards, Funko Pops, and like minor collectibles, and they hold card tournaments. So I went in because I read the description of the Google review saying that they had like a decent comic book selection, but when I walked into the store, it was literally only the back corner of the store that had comics in it, and at most they only had like 10 long boxes, and it was all divided up between Marvel, DC, and Indies, and the only real big issues that they had were like modern CGC 9.8 graded books that had like 5 signatures, and they were asking like $1,000 for each. But the only thing I managed to find there were Batman the New 52 number 8. That one was for $2. With me, if you can find those early New 52 Batmans for under $10, that is kind of a win. And I did find the follow-up issue number 9, also for $2. A big negative is that these are reader copies, but other than that, that's really all I could find at this particular store. Next up, I got these at the regular shop. Star Wars Tales number 7 with Boba Fett on the cover. This one was in their 50% off bins. They had it graded at a 9.0 at $10. I managed to get it for $5. With the release of the new movie, I've found this one for $10. The Toy Story number 1. It's just the adaptation of the first movie, which to me is still the best movie. And the way number 4 ended, I really don't have a desire to see the new one. And then with this next book, it's just something that I had to grab because finding it at a decent price just isn't an option. Because the story with this is I found it at the shop at a decent price, but I had taken my wife to an antique shop a couple of days before that, and I did find this particular issue. But this is one of those instances where you can tell that the guy had literally just gotten into comics, and basically he was self-grading everything at a 9.8 just to try and squeeze every penny out of you. And like the condition of the books and the prices just were not there. He had his particular copy for $350, and I'm like, there is no way. But I did manage to find it at my shop. It's a first printing, The Dark Knight Returns number 1. So the shop had it graded at a 3.0, but to me, I think this is severely undergraded, because the only real issues with this is that it has some indentations on the back cover, but even then they're not that severe. But, you know, who am I to argue with a comic shop that's authorized by CGC to grade books on their behalf? So, you know, I managed to find another copy of this book to add to my collection. It is much nicer than the one that I bought off of eBay. However, if you're still watching at this point, I want to put a pin on this book, and we're going to circle back around to it. Okay, so these next set of books I managed to pick up at Half Price Books. So due to like our scheduling, it's up to me to pick up my son from summer school this year. And they do have a Half Price Books across the highway from them. So anytime I do get a chance, when I get off early, or, you know, I got relieved of my duties and I'm on the way to pick them up, I'll stop in there every now and again. I did find some decent stuff. First off, it's Teen Titans number 20. The first appearance of Crush, Lobo's daughter. So these next set of books right here, I got them from the case. This one was $2. I managed to pick this one up for 10. Detective Comics number 871, The Black Mirror Part 1. Scott Snyder's first foray into Batman. This book literally is all over the map on eBay. Like, I can't figure out what it goes for on certain days, because you'll go on there and you'll see it'll be 20, 25, 30, 35, up to $50, and then you never know what the true going rate for this book is. But for what I got it for, I'm not gonna complain. This one I paid $15 for it. Detective Comics number 441, the first appearance of Harvey Bullock. For the most part, like, the only real issues on this one, because it's almost a pristine copy. It just has like a little crease on the cover right here, and I think it's a manufacturing defect where the staple kind of protrudes on this middle section right here, so it keeps it from laying flat. But other than that, the corners are sharp, the pages are white, and like, I'd be hard pressed to even take this book out of the bag and read it. Next up, I got this at a very good steal. It's not in the best condition, but in my area it's very hard to find a copy in hand, and that's Batman number 357, one of those debated first appearance cameos. Killer Croc and Jason Todd appear in this. It is one of the 3-pack reprints because it doesn't have the date on it, but it is a very, very low grade. You can see that it has like a sticker pull with partially some of the cover ripped out, all these spine ticks, bent corners, creases all over. But for $30, I'm not going to argue with that. Okay, and these next set of books I picked up at that 60% off sale earlier today. The thing is, with our tight schedule, I kind of had to sneak out of the house just to be able to make it. My biggest regret is that I didn't have more time, because apparently this kind of falls into the whole the store owner, like, if he knows that you're like a regular or you're part of the membership program, he'll give you like a 50% off discount here and there. Well, this time he was being generous and gave it to like everybody that came in the store. So everything was 60% off, back issues including wall books, except for like CGC graded stuff, and trading cards. Because one thing is that they are kind of expanding it to include like Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, but not so much Yu-Gi-Oh. So they kind of got rid of somewhat of the back issue bins just to make room for more display cases for the cards. I just wish I had more time and more money, because I did go in with the budget, and it is what it is. First off is the New 52, the first cameo of Simon Baz, Green Lantern. At $5 for 60% off, that'd be what, $1.50, $2. The Sketch, Flashpoint number 2, $5, 60% off. This one was in their $2 bins, and it kind of ties in with the whole Supergirl movie coming out, issue number 8. This one, it wasn't even $1. I think it was like 75 cents or 80 cents for this one. Ultimate Spider-Man number 2. I believe this is the variant issue to this one. The original one has him on the cover. Depending on who you ask, this is like a $20 book. The follow-up issue number 3. Dude, these are like very, very top graded copies. That's mainly why I got them. I believe I'm missing issue number 5. That's the aftermath of when they killed Uncle Ben in this version of the story. But apparently that, for a big book at the time, that was severely low printed, so trying to find a copy of that's almost next to impossible. This one kind of ties into the Batman sequel and whatnot. This is Batman The Long Halloween number 1. So I finally am able to add this one to the collection, one that's not like a reprint. The original pricing issue on this one was $40. 60% off will put me at what, $11, $12 for this. It's not the nicest issue because you can see it has some chipping on the corners, and it does have it on the back and on the side right here. But online, $25, $30, $40. They were asking $40 for this. 60% off. Who's gonna argue with that? Like, I can't believe I found this one, because DC Universe logo variants are getting harder and harder to find in my area, and I can't believe I found this one. Superman the Man of Steel number 18 in the DC Universe logo. $25, 60% off would put it at $9, $10. And this is in much higher grade than the one that I have in my collection. Now, I had asked you that, to stick around, and we were going to circle back to this. So I managed to find another copy of this particular issue. Batman The Dark Knight Returns number 1. Now, this one is a wall book, okay? So the best way that I can describe it was, so they had bought a collection and they were rummaging through, and they found some minor key issues, and he managed to find this one. And because it is in terrible condition, I'm assuming he assumed that the owner thought that this was like a second, third, or fourth print of this. So that's why it's beat up, and he had it labeled for $5. Because it was a wall book, he did take it upon himself to write the key significance of this on the back. So from his perspective, it's Batman The Dark Knight Returns number 1. He has it as a second printing direct edition. The first appearance of Carrie Kelly. And what is this? Comic cover art by Frank Miller. So the key significance of this is that he has it labeled as a second printing. But right before I started shooting this video, I took it upon myself to open up the book and verify for myself. As you can see, it is a very beat up copy. Nothing too special. However, I just wanted to verify myself that it was indeed a second print. But lo and behold, it's actually a first printing. So this is like the second time this has happened to me. How long ago was it that I found Dark Knight Triumphant at a movie trading company for $5? Because I'm assuming they thought it was a second or third printing. And hey, when it comes to this book, I went from having no copies to having 3 copies of this. So how lucky can I get? 2 copies of it in one haul. So let me know how I did, guys, and if you enjoy the content, leave a comment and subscribe. And most importantly, I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you.